I don't care how many royal arsenals have sat
Listen
on this
to me!
chair.
Listen to me!
Listen to you? By what right?
By divine right, if you must. I'm your king.
No, you're not. You told me so yourself. You said you didn't want it. Why should I waste my time listening to you?
Because I have a right to be, and I
what?
have a voice!
Yes, you do.
Hello, folks. Picture this film review followers and subscribers. If you have found us for the very first time and you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if by the end of the video you find something that you enjoy or like, hit that like button too down bottom just to show us that what we do actually matters. It would be really nice to feel appreciated from time to time. Anyways, but honestly, thank you to the folks who do watch our videos. We do put a lot of time into watching movies. We've had to spend, hundreds of hours at this point watching films, some of which we've never seen before, and like this one for us was a new one. But before we get into the movie, as is tradition with all of our Thursday episodes, we like to go around the table, ask everybody how they're doing for the week. And before we get into that, even just as a refresher, I'm Dan.
Kayla.
And
Matt.
So guys, why don't we go around the table? How's everybody's week? How are we doing? How are we feeling?
Who wants to go? I always don't know who to go. I feel bad for going first.
I am good. I am good on this day. I am grateful to be alive. It was a nice day outside today as we're recording this. I didn't get to walk the dog like I wanted to, but it's all good because it was still nice, and I'm sure there'll be other nice days, but probably not many more because it's almost wintertime. You guys are frozen on my end. Oh boy. I can hear you. So that's a thing. So I'm just gonna jump right into it, and hopefully throughout the course of me talking, you unfreeze. I watched a couple things over the week. I'm just going to very quickly spit them out. I watched Mr. Harrigan's Phone on Netflix. It's based on the Stephen King novel or novella. It's not a scary thing, which I think some people online are like, this isn't horror. But I don't think it's really advertising as horror, or maybe it was, I don't know. But I never thought it was going to be horror. But it's a cool little story. It's a slow burn about a boy, an old man, and an iPhone. And I'll just leave it at that. And then I watched this movie called Fall, which is a new movie from this year as well. So was Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Fall, I had never even heard of. My brother Mitchell had suggested it and actually bought it on my Vudu streaming account, and he's like, you need to watch this. It was all right. It wasn't good. It wasn't like the best, but it was all right. So I went into it with little to no, because I hadn't even heard of it. But I loved it. I thought it was great. If you get a chance, watch Fall, because that movie quickly jumped into my top 10 of the year.
Wow.
So Mitchell's threshold for good movies has got to be like superb.
It was, well, not usually, but this was a good movie. Maybe it's just me, but maybe it's because I had so low expectations. But
Yeah.
I really dug it. And then finally, I watched the new Hellraiser on Hulu.
Oh yeah.
Which was good. It was better than I expected, and it was probably the best Hellraiser movie, at least since like number 2. And there's like 11 of them now, so it's the best Hellraiser in a long time. You guys are you're unfrozen now. You were very blurry, but you just unblurred, so perfect timing. How are you guys?
Good. Our internet connection is unstable, apparently.
Yeah, I think the kids are playing multiple streaming devices at the moment, so it's causing some interference. But overall, we had a really good week. We started watching some new things. We were fans originally of Midnight Mass, so the creators of that have brought out Midnight Club on Netflix. So we're a few episodes in on that, which is doing very well for us. I've liked it so far. And we've also saw on Disney Plus a new special that came out, Werewolf to Midnight, which was
midnight
Midnight
at midnight.
Where was I? I don't know.
Something like
I'm gonna call it the wrong thing, but it was phenomenal. So if I've mispronounced the name, please forgive me. But
Werewolf
honestly,
by
probably
Night.
the better.
Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, maybe. Yes.
Werewolf by Midnight, I thought, or
Sure.
Werewolf
Just
by
Werewolf
Night.
by Night. Yeah.
So it was phenomenal. Honestly, one of the best things I think Disney has put out for the Marvel franchise as of late, just as a standalone. It's only 50 minutes, but man, it's reminiscent of an old classical horror movie. If you want to think about that, it's filmed in black and white for the majority of it, and then has a slow fade at the end. But definitely interested to see if they rekindle that. I know that Blade was pushed back recently, but it would be the kind of thing you'd expect to see Blade come to
Yeah, maybe.
sooner or later. Maybe even the whole, I forget from the comics what it's called, but the Midnight Club, where it's like Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, Blade, and
I know
all
what you're
those
talking about.
guys. But yeah, pretty good.
It actually was. It was really refreshing to see not your average superheroes kind of. I mean, there really wasn't any superheroes. It was more like monster hunters. So that was actually really cool to watch. What is it? Oh yeah, Midnight Club is really cool. Have you checked that out, Matt?
No, I have not. I have not seen any of the
Probably
things
would
you
really
guys
like
mentioned.
it. I think you would really like it.
Where is that at?
Netflix.
Okay.
And then we watched Halloween 2, right? Was that last week?
We
right?
talked about that last week.
We talked about that last week.
Okay, sorry. Watching Halloween right now, 2018. Not gonna go into detail about that. There was something else
Very
I wanted to
stabby.
talk about, but I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Awesome.
Dang.
So thank you guys for sharing your weeks with us. Definitely interested.
Oh, I remember.
Oh,
I'm
here we
so
go.
sorry.
That's
Okay. Hellraiser looks super creepy. And I probably will not partake. I watched the trailer because I was like, I've always been like iffy on Hellraiser. I don't really like the idea of obviously pins in their face, or all over the body. I don't even know if it's all over the body. I have no idea. Anyway, I watched the trailer and then I was like, oh nope, it's not for me. So I won't be watching it.
Pinhead and his life on screen is very sadistic, as are, I forget what they call them, the
I'm not familiar with
Cenobites.
Cenobites.
what are they, like aliens? Are they like demons?
They're like some sort of like, they refer to themselves as like angels, but they're like some sort of like
Demon.
demonic.
Okay.
It is called
heavenly
Hellraiser.
creatures.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Anyway, yeah. Okay. It
Um,
looks really creepy. There was, I
it's-
don't know, it just looked really
yeah.
creepy.
It's different.
And with that, we come to our feature presentation where we are coming together to talk about The King's Speech. Before I get into my review, which is my right as that was my wonderful pick, I have Miss Kayla, who is going to be doing the stats.
Is that okay, Matt? Unless
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to do it?
No.
Okay. So let's go into this. Okay, so this movie released in 2010. It is actually rated R, which I'm not really sure why it's rated R. Oh, maybe because of the excessive cursing. There is a bit where there's excessive cursing. Yeah. It runs at 1 hour and 58 minutes. I would ask Matt, but lately we've been talking, he's been saying like 2 hours, isn't that bad? So we're gonna go with isn't that bad, and he held it in the whole time.
And you're not gonna let him do his shtick. Oh.
I mean, if he wants to, because he keeps saying, I don't know why we keeps doing this. So I'll let him off easy this week. So this did get an 8.0 out of 10 on IMDb, and it rated an 88 on Metacritic, whatever, something like that. And I did say something last week when you brought this movie up that I believe that it won Academy Awards. Yeah, this did win like 4 Oscars. It won so many other awards as well that I would sit here for an hour just going through what it won. I'm trying to see what else we say about it. It was directed by Tom Hooper. It features Colin Firth as well as Jeffrey Rush and Helena Bonham Carter. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can get out of this for you guys.
How about a synopsis?
Okay, let's do that. Okay, we'll see. Let's see. Okay, Britain's Prince Albert, played by Colin Firth, must ascend the throne as King George IV, but he has a speech impediment. He meets Jeffrey Rush, which is Dr. Logue, along the way, who helps him find his own voice. And also they develop a wonderful friendship that lasts the rest of their lives. And it is based on a true story. So that is our thing of this week, is based on a true story. And I think that's what I'm going to wrap it up with.
It's King George the Sixth, though. Not to
Oh, I'm
correct
so
you,
sorry.
but yeah,
VI for our Roman numeral.
Oh,
buddies.
my bad.
yeah.
Sorry.
Just
That's
want to
okay.
make it clear to
He
the.
was
It's the same.
sixth.
No, he is the 6th. So he's succeeding as King George the 6th.
Oh, okay.
His father was
The fifth.
Okay, I gotcha.
right.
My bad.
No problem. Same Roman numerals, just different placement. It's all good.
Yeah, that's true.
So thank you for that synopsis. Thank you for going over those stats for us. So again, I'm going to start off with my review. So welcome back to an exciting episode of As the Dan Interprets. Yeah, that's my new segment. Get over it, guys. So when we're talking about this, we have a man who was never expected to be king. He was second in line for the throne. His brother, which is a whole thing that I'm sure has many movies, is also mentioned on The Crown, basically ends up sidestepping his role as king, where King George has to step in and fill that void. But well before that happens, throughout the course of his life, he has a stammer, and he tries to convey messages to people. I think that it must have also had in part to do with public speaking or being in front of people, because it seemed to be very anxiety driven, at least by the movie. He had tried to do several speeches in his time as a prince, talking to the people of the Commonwealth or the UK, and he just couldn't get his messages out. And it was something that his father would also like pressure him on. His father was relentless over his you get it out, boy, get it out. And his brother would ultimately, during the course of them growing up, tease him, poke and prod him, even up to the point where he's getting older, just like making fun of the way he's speaking. Colin Firth, I think, did an amazing job of portraying the stammer on screen. And where some movies draw inspiration from events like being stuck without a way to get out, like having their arms pinned, or in a situation where they're on top of a high tower and can't get off. This is something that's, a little more, it's mental. And with that, what I mean is, to me, it's an extreme situation, or it made it feel like it was a huge obstacle to overcome. And for him, it was, especially at a time where his country is going through, about to re-enter a world war. So we're talking about World War II here. And a lot of the folks around him really didn't have much faith that he'd be able to be the face of the nation, which the king of the country at that time, that was their role. And Colin Firth, as character, George VI, expressed as much. He said, all they need from me is somebody that can talk to them, and I can't even do that for them. So he put his entirety behind this. There was a whole section where he's going back and forth trying to find a speech therapist that'll work, and he ends up with this Logue, who I believe the actor that played him was absolutely phenomenal as well. I thought the on-screen chemistry was amazing, and honestly, anytime there was a trip up, so when the church, as king, you're head of the Church of England, threw out towards the end that the guy wasn't actually a doctor, that they said he was just pretending to be one. Ultimately, their friendship and the fact that what Logue said to him was true. I never told you I was a doctor. You called me a doctor. All I can offer you is what I have experienced in the real world. I can't give you that title, but I can give you what I've experienced, and I've helped other people with your situation overcome much worse. And he did. And ultimately, that led to a friendship that not only carried him through what would be a pivotal moment for him, which is to deliver an address at the forefront or the start of World War II, or the UK's entrance into World War II, but beyond that, to be friends moving on, up to the point where in history they both passed away. So with that being said, overall the movie I thought was very appealing. I felt that the time period felt right in the movie. They portrayed that very well. As far as the actors and actresses involved, the two leads, great, supporting each other. Even Miss Carter in there was, I think, a good touch, and you could kind of get the sense from both of them in their speaking and the way that their lines were written, that in the beginning they did view themselves as being above certain people. So it's like when he talks like, you will address me as your majesty and then your highness. And then same thing from the wife. And then after that, they kind of broke that barrier. And I think it was his acceptance that he was just an ordinary man put in an extraordinary position. And then he was able to deliver on that. So for this movie, I'm really glad I picked it. It's something I never watched before, but I'm a fan of Colin Firth. I know my wife loves Colin Firth, and I wanted to definitely kind of pick this for her too. Um, Love the movie. Personally, would probably rate it, for me, and this is going to be a shocker, a 10 out of 10. And I could definitely picture myself watching this again. I relinquish my talking stick to Mr. Matt. I'm going to pick the running order because I like to hear what Caleb says last on this. But Matt, why don't you share your review with us?
All right. So I had no idea what this was about before you guys told me kind of what it was about last week. This isn't one that I necessarily was like, oh, I really wanted to see that. Like when Caleb picked Rocket Man, I was like, oh, that's a great pick. And this was like, what is this? But you know, that's why we do this. So we get to see new things and talk about it with the people. It's not often that I call a movie perfect, but this is a perfect movie. This is a 10 out of 10. It's so touching. It's heartwarming. It's I thought the directing, the writing, the acting, the sets, everything was perfect. The costumes, everything was just perfect. Helena Bonham Carter did a great job. I thought. I've not usually seen her in things that aren't like Tim Burton related. Of course, she was in Harry Potter, but that's, you might as well. She's very similar to Tim Burton related there. So like this was a different role for her, for me. So I was pleasantly surprised with her performance there. Colin Firth obviously gives the Oscar-winning performance that he so rightly deserved. I don't know. I don't have too much to say on this other than I really enjoyed it. And one thing that I wrote down that I'm going to repeat is that this is the kind of movie that when you finish watching it, you think you've just seen one of the best movies ever made. Maybe something will come along down the line later, and that will be one of the best movies you've ever seen. But for right now, in this moment, The King's Speech is it.
Wow. Wow, those are bold words, sir.
Oh, and I do picture myself watching this again.
Yeah.
I will never watch this again. Throw it in the garbage.
Wow, so I don't know how I'm gonna follow up either of those reviews, but you know, when we had talked about this before, and sometimes we really don't agree with the critics. We say boo with the critics because there are like some things that they are rightly wrong. But you know, I'm gonna have to go with the critics on this one. This was it is a 10 out of 10. There is nothing lacking in this movie. It is not missing anything. I think it was done the way it was meant to be. And obviously you can see that like they executed it perfectly. And I want to say, like, I love Colin Firth, but really the huge takeaway for me in this movie was Jeffrey Rush. I have never, except for Sean Penn in Mystic River, there are performances that really stick with you when you're watching movies that really, like, I don't know what it is, but he played that character so beautifully. And to me, you could see the friendship in his eyes when he looked at Colin Firth's character. You could see that he was all the way in it. The scene where Colin Firth gives the King's speech, the camera does this little thing where it aims at Jeffrey Rush right through the microphone. So you see that the outline of the microphone, like right around like the part, and it's almost as if Colin Firth's character is looking at Jeffrey Rush. And to me, that was beautiful. And it almost brings tears to my eyes, because I was telling Dan, I was like, I would rewatch this movie right after I finished watching it, because it was so amazing. And it was so touching. I mean, that kind of sounds silly because we're literally talking about royals, and I don't know how much is truth, but they humanized Colin Firth's character a little bit. King George VI, right? That's right.
Yeah.
So they humanized him a little bit, and you almost took pity on him, because of the things that he endured during his childhood, that ultimately is the reason he got that speech impediment. Which, I mean, I would have never known that he had those hardships, and that those kind of things, like when you curb a person from writing with their left hand when they're a left-hander and you make them a right hand, that brings on a stutter. I would have never known that. And that is, to me, like, it's just crazy how progressive the treatment was for him in the 1940s, 1950s. And that was amazing as well. I'm sad that Jeffrey Rush did not win the Oscar for this, because I think it was so well deserved. I am glad the Oscars that it did win, because it deserved it. I can picture myself watching this. We probably will watch it again. It was beautiful. And I think that's what this movie really captures, is just the beautiful friendship between two unlikely people. So, yes.
Thank you both for your review on this, and just on final thoughts, because, as sometimes happen to other people talking, you have to think, put yourself in the mindset of the person in the UK, or, part of the kingdom, the Commonwealth at that point in time, where there's uncertainty into going into another war, one of which, as he stated in his speech, many of whom can remember in their lifetimes the war to end all wars, right? And then here we go again. Imagine having heard stories about your public leader not being able to speak correctly, as I'm not now, and then them hearing this message, ultimately the King's speech, overall to try to bring people together, to let them know that they stand as one, and just the unity that the speech would have brought. And behind the scenes, how much this one person who said he had so little control over the goings on of the entire country, what happens in the entire country, his personal struggle to make sure that he's saying what needs to be said correctly. And that really is his battle, is what we viewed. And every syllable, every sentence, every place of punctuation, it mattered. It mattered not only to him or his linguists, but to the entire peoples whom he was reaching through that microphone to get to. And again, such a strong story, and not to take away from other stories, but to have you with bated breath sitting there to see if someone can complete a sentence, a line, a speech. How crazy is that? And when has that ever been done in film before? Do you guys ever remember sitting, like, rooting for someone just to say something, the way he did and how it was portrayed? So definitely a huge, and again, thank you for talking with me about this movie. And again, it's impacted me, and I'm glad that you guys had the experience you did with it as well. If you folks watching out in the audience did enjoy it, please let us know. If you didn't enjoy it, let us know too. We'd love to hear some feedback from you as well. So closing off on the King's speech, we go around the roulette. We have our movies that we've been picking based on a true story. This was the number 2 entrance. Kayla had picked the first. I was the second. That would lead Mr. Matt to be the third on our picking of the movie. So, Mr. Matt, what wonderful film have you chose for us to review today?
I will tell you, it's not going to be as great as Rocket Man or The King's Speech, and I feel bad about that. I really even thought about changing it, but I feel like it's too important of a story to change, because it is a true story. How do I want to lead in? Because I like leading in, as you know. I like to build it up. So, based on a true story, and I hate to go back into a certain actor that we've covered recently, and any actor, but specifically this one particular actor, for reasons you'll know as soon as I mention it. But I want to set the picture here. It's the year 1963. Medgar Evers, a black man, gets home, drives up to his house, parks the car, gets out, and starts to go inside to his wife and his children. I'm going to cry just to get building this up myself.
Oh God.
And he is gunned down in his driveway by a white man just because he's black. And the white man admits that he did this and walks away free. No jail time. Because Medgar was black. True story. Years later, Medgar's widow, still fighting for the justice for her husband, finds a lawyer, a young lawyer, Bobby DeLauder, and he takes on her case. So the question becomes, is it ever too late to do the right thing? I give you, directed by Rob Reiner, starring Whoopi Goldberg and Alec Baldwin, Ghosts of Mississippi.
Wow, I've never seen this. I actually just got chills from hearing you say that.
It is not streaming anywhere. It is on my Vudu account, so guys, you can watch it there. It is available to purchase on Prime if anyone else watching would like to join along with us, or if you own, of course, I used to own it on DVD and Blu-ray. It's available anywhere to purchase, but streaming wise for free, it's not anywhere other than my Vudu account. So that's what we will be talking about. It's not even on IMDb. It doesn't get the ratings that the other films that we talked about got, but I feel like it's an equally important story.
Definitely.
Agree?
Yes.
So looking forward to Ghosts of Mississippi. Matt, thank you for bringing that to us. So again, as you heard it here first, we'll be talking about that next week after you've seen this one on Thursday. So join us as we talk about that story, and really looking forward to it.
Yep.
At this point, typically in the week, we would do a spin of the wheel. But we are going to put that on hold temporarily because we would like to join you in some scary movies in preparation for, that scary holiday that's right around the corner. I wonder what that is, or is it Halloween? So I believe there should be enough episodes that we could each make a pick of a scary movie. It'd be interesting to see what lands on our wonderful Halloween episode, but definitely tune in. Find out. Join us at Picture This Film Reviews on YouTube, Picture This Film Reviews Instagram, Facebook. Wherever you look up Picture This Film Reviews, it's probably got something to do with us somewhere. Even IMDb is floating around there with Picture This Film Reviews. So you never know when we're going to pop up. Again, special thanks to our subscribers who are following us. We wouldn't do this without you guys. We love talking to each other, but are definitely interested in meeting some like-minded individuals who love films that just want to talk about films. You don't have to be a film critic like us. You can be one like Matt if ultimately you choose to be. But please let us know. Did you like our episode? Did you like this movie? Did you hate this movie? Give us your thoughts, opinions. We just want somebody to talk to here.
Not you, Milton Chapman.
Yeah. So shout out, Milton. But
Shout out to Milton.
all comments are appreciated regardless. So
Yeah, thanks, Milton.
But at this point in the episode, we normally kick it back to Matt to do our off-air signal. So Matt, why don't you take it away, sir?
Everybody have a great weekend. Join us on Monday. We're doing news on Monday.
Oh, shoot.
And of course, love one another.
Bye.
See you guys.